And let's just bring him on, Jonathan Mildenhall, CMO of the Year of Rocket. Jonathan, thank you for coming on the show today. How are you doing?
You know what? Honestly, boys, first of all, congratulations in what you're building. I love the energy and the irreverence that you're bringing to the narrative of our industry. So, huge respect to you, and thank you very much for giving me the time today.
Jonathan had the best outfit of the night last night, too. I just want to put
All
that
right,
out
all right,
there.
enough,
But
enough.
anyways, all right, let's get into this.
Vintage Versace, head to toe.
John, I need to ask you, when you got off the stage, you're feeling the rush of emotions, and then you get Gino that just kind of, he approaches you.
Hey, Gino Shelby.
How nervous were you for your safety in that moment, and how do you feel now?
I just thought he was such a player, honestly. He didn't even say congratulations. He just said, come on the show. So I was like I've got to say yes, haven't I? Because he's such a bloody
You
player.
do get put in a very tough spot, and that we use that to our advantage. But of course, congratulations, CMO of the Year. And speak to, why do you think that yourself, and of course it's really, I'm sure you'll say this, an award for the entire brand. But I think you've had big ambitions for this brand. Last two Super Bowls have been outstanding. Can you speak to maybe why this moment has come for you and for the brand?
Yeah. Honestly, I credit the founder of the company, Dan Gilbert, who founded the company 40 years ago. That guy thinks in the most audacious, without borders way. I mean, he was the first finance company to put mortgages online. Now every single mortgage company is online, but at the time that was quite radical. The guy is like literally single-handedly rejuvenating the entire city of Detroit. And he brought in Varun Krishna as the first external CEO to Rocket in its 40-year history. Varun comes from the world of technology where he's just been programmed to think big. I was in retirement, having run Airbnb's marketing for a few years. I just had a couple of kids. I wasn't looking for an operating job, and Varun called me up and said, get out of retirement, come and help us build this, and you will get to do the best work of your career. And I flew to Detroit and saw everything was going on in Detroit. And I was like, you know what, I think I've got one more swing in me and now I will do it. And I've been able to kind of get the marketing team at Rocket in their respective zone of geniuses. So everybody who is at Rocket in marketing is firing on all cylinders. And I brought in a couple of people that I've worked with in the past who helped build the Airbnb case so well. And so it's a combination of vision from leadership, the very, very best marketing team in the country, which I believe that I have, and all of us thinking without constraints.
Yeah.
So I'm curious then. So what would you say is the brand of Rocket today, and where do you want to take it in the future?
Yeah. So, we really do believe that Rocket should be the most optimistic brand in North America and the most inclusive brand in North America. Now, why would you say optimism? Well, we basically place 30-year bets on people who place 30-year bets on themselves. This isn't a short-term transaction. You're with your mortgage company for, 30 years or longer, should you choose to refi. And we want it to be inclusive because, home ownership, 92% of Americans believe that home ownership is good for the American dream. That is higher than education or healthcare. Now, being European, I think that is bonkers because in Europe you get healthcare and education above home ownership. But I'm not in Europe. I'm in the US, and so because home ownership, if managed correctly, can be part of the American dream narrative, then the brand's bookends of optimism and inclusivity will be forever the guardrails of how we build the brand. But then we've got this beautiful co-creative idea that was conceived by Miramar, which is own the dream. And so it's an invitation for all of America to kind of come together, not give up on the American dream. And it's up to Rocket to build products that create more access for people to take part in the American dream. But honestly, the vision is for more Americans to own more of America. And it's as simple as that. And that's really, really important work.
Yeah, I have a kind of a big question, I would
Oh,
say.
let's go. Big
It's a big
question alert.
question. In today's marketing landscape, everyone's looking at like engagement rate, quick turn, conversions, and all that. When I hear you talk about the vision for Rocket, and of course the nature of it is long term. You're talking about a customer life cycle of decades, right? how do you all measure success and make sure that like you're still building that long-term vision and still measuring that like on a day-to-day basis you're moving in the right direction if the customer life cycle is such a long tail?
Yeah, it's a brilliant question. And here's the truth. If we manage Own the Dream right, Own the Dream could become one of the most valuable assets in marketing in North America, up there alongside, Airbnb's Belong Anywhere and Nike's Just Do It. That was the vision. So Own the Dream should outlast me. Now, in order to make that happen, Own the Dream has to serve our short-term goals. Nobody gets a free pass. Every dollar that we invest this quarter needs to be delivering the financial results for this quarter and laying the foundation for next quarter and next year. So every single CMO and every single leadership team has to manage this, relentless paradox between short-term profitability and long-term value creation. And I truly believe with the vision under Varun and with the core creative idea that is serving both Rocket and Redfin, that we have the tools in place to manage that tension. But it is a very, very real tension.
So what advice do you have for the other CMOs out there that might be listening, marketing professionals aspiring to be in a position like yourself? What advice do you have for them?
I don't believe that enough marketers truly love the brands that they serve. There isn't a day that I go by when I'm not wearing the Rocket brand. Normally I'm in a Rocket t-shirt, but my Rocket t-shirt, I slept in it last night. It's a bit grubby. And that means that when I'm in front of all of our partners, when I'm in front of Meta and Pinterest and iHeart, I get them to believe in my brands, and I get them to put their very best creative people on my brands. And as a result of it, the way that Rocket and Redfin show up on all of these platforms, in all of these different media channels, it shows up with greater native authenticity than a lot of other brands. And so the first is just believe in your brands. The second is believe in the people. And so our relationship with Zenith, our relationship with Miramar, our relationship with DKC, the PR agents here in New York, they're true extensions of my team, and I feel that the marketing industry is relentlessly punishing the agencies that help them be successful with short-term thinking on contracts, with, really aggressive approaches from procurement and fees, which means that the agencies can't recruit and retain the top talent on their business. I am very, very sure that every single partner that works with Rocket puts their very best people on Rocket. And as a result of that, I get a disproportionate share of creative intelligence.
I love it. Super interesting. I mean, my last question is around because of I've just heard from other marketing leaders of brands that almost the first thing you need to do is get internally everyone to believe in it. Like if you can't market to the people inside the walls, you just don't stand a chance. Jonathan, I'm really curious for you all. I mean, of course, there's great visionary leadership that you're stepping into, but just talk about how you're able to get this massive organization of everyone to kind of buy into a vision to now set all of you up to bring that vision out externally.
Jack, you're absolutely right. Honestly, it's as if you'd been in the shoes of so many CMOs, those who have succeeded and those who have failed. What CMOs fail to understand is that the first audience is your internal stakeholders. And that first audience need two things. They need education. How is marketing going to create value for this enterprise? And they need inspiration. Inspire us about what it is that you're going to take to market. And so marketing the strategy internally and then marketing the execution internally is as important as launching it externally. And one of the things that I did when we were at Airbnb is we wrote a white paper, and I can share this white paper with you so that you can actually share it with your audience. And it was the business case for creating an iconic brand. Because at the time I got to Airbnb, it was a tiny little brand that was like Craigslist with pictures. And yet under the vision of Brian Chesky, he wanted to create an iconic brand. So we took it upon ourselves to write the white paper, which we would report out to the board about why creating an iconic brand for Airbnb was going to earn a disproportionate amount of shareholder return over a 10-year period. And so it was educating. We had to educate the board, educate internal stakeholders, and then we'd inspire the board and inspire our internal stakeholders. And that's why Airbnb became the success. And I'm using that playbook inside of Rocket.
That's fantastic. I mean, it reminds you of, we were just talking, it's top of mind about the new Apple CEO. It reminds you so much, I feel like, what you hear anecdotes with Steve Jobs of just being like, if you were working under Steve Jobs at Apple, you're just like, yes, I want to follow this, and then the creative vision, execution. So that's super interesting. We definitely want to see that white paper. We might get it framed here.
Yeah,
Jonathan. Just kind of put this. It's like you
building our set here.
tap it before you go into the office.
It's very pretty. It's very pretty. So
I believe it.
You can, because it's about, inspiration as well as information. But yeah, it's probably about 12 years old now, so it's a little out of date. But in there, it's got so many different case studies, so many different references of brands like Starbucks that took coffee, created an iconic brand, and was able to create $1 gazillion worth of shareholder returns. So there's many, many case studies in there about people who just thought differently about their brands.
Very cool.
Jonathan, thank you so much for coming on the show. Congrats on your CMO of the Year win. Well deserved. Excited to see all the future work coming out from Rocket. And I'm sure you'll be on the show again.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Keith.
Thanks,
Nice play last night, and nice to meet you, Jack.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Jonathan.
All right. Take care.
Take
Bye-bye.
care.